Hello and welcome to the second of the Dis After Dark Pub Snack Edition episodes. I am Nick.
Paul D.
Paul W.
And I'm Chris.
That's it. We've got no Mr. Lucas this week. I believe he's currently watching Batman vs Superman, which has divided the team. Almost a bit like Civil War. Which we can talk about because that's a Disney property. But there's a 50-50 split currently. That will obviously change once Mr. Lucas has seen it. Yeah, P-Dubs, you liked it, and Mr. Ripley, not so keen.
Yeah, I just wish it was the Batman film.
Well, we have got the Batman Lego movie coming out. If you've seen the trailer for that, that's...
Yeah. Who's doing the voice for Batman Lego?
Will Arnett.
I have no idea who that is.
I wonder if everything will be awesome with that movie.
But he did the voice of Batman in the Lego movie.
Oh, okay.
But he's been in lots of things. He was in Arrested Development. He was in Parks and Recreation. He was in Blades of Glory. He's got one of these faces and voices that when you see him, you'll know who it is.
Oh, right.
So you've probably seen him in lots of things without realising, but yeah, he's... And Voldemort is the voice of Alfred.
Oh.
Not that we should probably talk about his name. Anyway, we're kind of going off topic before we even started.
Tangent before we begin.
Yeah, which is about what we do, really. So, obviously, with this, we've bwe discussing results, and we've had our first 8 on the first episode, didn't we?
Yes.
Do we want to recap on what those were for those that may have forgotten already?
Yep. The 8 that people voted on were the All-Star Resorts, the Coronado Springs Resort, both of the Port Orleans Resorts, the Polynesian Village Resort, Bay Lake Tower, the villas at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and the Swan and Dolphin Hotel.
Yes, that's right. Very good, because I'd forgotten half of those. I was quite drunk. And I believe you have the results.
Yeah, well, we what do they say on X Factor? The counting has...
The votes have been verified.
That's it. The votes have been verified and counted.
That's it.
And I can reveal tonight, long pause, the literally millions and millions of votes that we had. The 4 winners are, in no particular order, both of the Port Orleans resorts, the Polynesian, no surprise, that was the most popular on the show, and Bay Lake Towers.
That's got to be a bit of a left field one, hasn't it?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised. The Port Orleans, made sense. Very good feedback on those. And obviously the voting counted for that as well. But Bay Lake Tower, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. I don't know where I would have gone if I'd have swapped one of those out instead of Bay Lake Tower. But, worthy, I suppose. So congratulations, you're through to the judges' houses. And indeed, we have some more results to talk about in just a second. But before we do, is anybody drinking?
Yeah. I'm drinking. Just tea.
Just tea. Okay.
Just tea, yeah. I just got back from a massive meal, so I think it'll be Alka-Seltzer in a minute.
Oh. It's nothing. I tell you what, it's nothing worse than going out and eating more than you realise you can handle.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Absolute worst. I'm on the soft as well because it's a school night, so I've just got a... That's me tapping on a Cherry Pepsi Max.
Your drink of choice.
My drink of choice, unfortunately, for my sins. And no one else is obviously drinking. Okay, fine. So, just in case, because I think some people have concerts recently, you can, of course, visit our website at www.disafterdark.com, or you can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com.
We're still on Twitter at Dis After Dark, and we're still on Facebook at facebook.com/Dis After Dark.
And just a very brief mention to sponsors, which of course are still WDW Today and also Wendy at Magical Journeys. So thank you guys for your continued support. But we do have more pressing things to talk about, and let's try and get through these. So we have another round of results to talk about. The ones that we've got tonight are Disney's Art of Animation result, Disney's Caribbean Beach result, Disney's BoardWalk Inn, Disney's Grand Floridian resort and spa, Disney's Yacht Club resort, the Treehouse Villas, Disney's Saratoga Springs resort and spa, and finally Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, which is one I think we talked about last show, didn't we? Almost by mistake. But yeah, so I think we should kind of go back to the top. Who wants to kick us off about Disney's Art of Animation result?
Has anybody stayed there?
I haven't, no.
No.
No, it was still being built.
Yeah.
Not now, it's built. But
It was, yeah.
when I would have, yeah.
Yeah, because it's weird. We stayed at Pop Century, and at that point they hadn't started building it, but the original shells were still there from what was going to be the second phase of Pop Century. So it was a bit kind of creepy, really. There was a path that just ended at a fence, and through the sort of scrubby land, you could see these shells of the resort that eventually became Art of Animation, I guess.
Yeah, because I saw those, but I wasn't really sure what they were until later on. I didn't realise that there was supposed to be a second phase of that. Because am I right in thinking that would have made Pop the biggest resort on property?
Yeah, I think so. I also think, wasn't it something to do with 9/11 that they abandoned?
I think it wasn't so much 9/11 itself as an event, but the economic downturn that followed.
Oh yeah,
Because like there was quite a dip in visitors post 9/11. So I think it was more that than anything else. But yeah, certainly. I mean, it's not as abandoned as the water park.
Yeah, River Country.
Yeah.
Which seems to be getting a lot of press at the moment.
Yeah, what's that about? Someone just like recently found, because like it's not new. Like the articles aren't even new. But I'm seeing them reposted quite a lot as well, actually.
there's a lot of DVC rumours floating around, isn't there?
But I don't think that they can do anything, surely.
Hadn't they started dismantling River Country? I
think they've taken some of it down, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if there's flesh-eating bacteria and worse, what can you do with it?
Well, I actually went to River Country. I've actually been in that water. So
Which explains why you'd want to do this show.
Yeah, exactly. So if I've got a brain-eating amoeba, it's probably from there.
Yeah, and I think, Mr. D, you went there as well, didn't you?
No, we just missed it. I mean, literally, the year that we went, I think it was 98, and I think that's when it shut. October 98 was the first time we went. And I'll look that up in a minute, but I've got a feeling that it closed just about that time.
Well, you be careful about looking up facts, Mr. Stone. You don't want people to think we actually know what we're talking about.
I know. After the event, though, Nick. Yeah, I've already spouted.
So Art of Animation, it's split up in, like I suppose, Pop. It's split up into sections, isn't there? So there's a Little Mermaid part of the building.
Yep. It's a cars
yep. area. Yep.
I've noticed that it does get a bit of criticism, this resort.
Okay.
For its pricing. Has anyone else heard this?
No.
Well, I've looked at the pricing because we thought that may be a good option for us, and it is expensive for what it is.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot more. Yeah, they seem to have a lot more suites than normal rooms.
Yeah,
and I think that's the issue that you come across is that most of the normal rooms have gone within the blink of an eye, and then it's all suites that are left.
But I'm pretty sure I priced this up a couple of years ago. Now this was just after it opened, so obviously it was really popular. It'll be interesting to rerun the numbers. But you could get 2 standard rooms, and obviously those rooms can be adjoining, in something like the All-Star movies for less money than you could get a suite at Art of Animation.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah,
I would
And
imagine so.
I'd rather have the two adjoining rooms because you get two full bathrooms. I think you ultimately get as much space and maybe even arguably slightly more facilities.
But when you look at their free dining packages they do in the autumn, like when they've done it in past years, they always say it excludes Art of Animation, the Little Mermaid section.
So that's the standard rooms, isn't it?
Yeah, so it must
Yeah.
be that those Little Mermaid rooms must be so popular if they're priced competitively, making the rest of it quite expensive. But
Yeah.
I didn't actually realise. Talking about, I was just reading up on the legendary years, which is what it was going to be. I didn't realise Pop only opened in 2003. It's quite late, really.
Yeah.
No, it definitely is. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. I believe you. I was thinking about Art of Animation. My brain had a brain fart recently.
But yes, the four it's split into four areas. We obviously mentioned Cars and the Little Mermaid. Also, The Lion King and Finding Nemo. It's interesting as well, actually, when you think about it, because obviously Cars is a continuing franchise because there's going to be yet another of those films. And Finding Dory comes out this year. And The Lion King is continued in what's it called? The
Lion Guard.
Lion Guard. That was it. I kept thinking Pride, but no, it's to do with the Pride, isn't it? But yes, Lion Guard. And The Little Mermaid, nothing's really happening with that now. Had a few sequels, didn't it? But they're not thinking
no
of
doubt they'll
TV series or something.
They'll probably do a. Actually, this is a bit of a
live
tangent.
action one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer for Jungle Book before Superman film?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not Superman, but I did see it this weekend. Went to see Zootopia.
It does look amazing.
I think it does. I think the effects look good. And actually, there's something we should mention because we did discredit one member of this team a few weeks ago. Cast your minds back a good 3-4 episodes ago, but we were discussing that they were going to show a teaser trailer potentially for Pete's Dragon during the Disneyland Celebration show. And they did. And when we mentioned that this would be the first time the footage would be shown, Craig mentioned that it looked cack or shit. I can't remember which. And I pointed out, of course, how can you turn around and say that when the footage hasn't actually been shown to anyone yet? But lo and behold, he was correct. It looks absolutely crap. It does. It's like, what? I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
We don't pull our punches here.
Well, as the top four, we didn't even mention that. We were voted the fourth best Walt Disney World podcast you should be listening to. Didn't we?
Yeah.
And in an article we didn't write ourselves. Somebody else did. So we had no involvement.
And we didn't pay him either.
Oh, we didn't pay him. Well, we haven't paid him yet anyway. And they said that one of the things about the show they liked is that we don't pull our punches, and that's true. If we can see a crap film, we'll mention it. But the Jungle Book, although I wasn't looking forward to it, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to see it at the cinema, it does look a lot better than I expected it to, actually. It definitely looks the best of the live action films they've done.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I've spoken before about how I felt about Maleficent and Cinderella. And I don't think it's just because this isn't, because they're both obviously kind of princess films. I don't think it's even down to that. I just think it does look good. And they've done live action Jungle Book films before, haven't they? But this is the first Disney live action Jungle Book film. But no, I think it's actually going to be better than I expected it to be, actually. So
The cast is great.
yeah, the voice cast, yeah.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with who they've cast in the roles at all.
No.
I hope they use the songs as well.
Well, I don't know if you saw the trailer, but Baloo is in the water, and he sings one of the songs from the original animated version, and Mowgli asks him, "What's that?" And he says, "Oh, it's just a little song I picked up," or something like that. So I don't think it's a musical, but there's a little kind of kind of throwback to the original.
Good. Okay. Well, it's going to be better than Pete's Dragon anyway. I think we can definitely say that. I don't know if you've worked out already, but I think it's going to be crack. Anyway, animation. So it's the last resort to be open on property, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we can say that as well. Just over. It's actually opened 4 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago, does it?
Time flies.
Yeah. But 984 rooms and 1,120 suites. 984 rooms is a lot more than I was expecting, actually. Considering they go as quickly as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big resort.
Well, we've talked about it for a while. I suppose we should now go on to Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort.
There's two things we didn't mention about Art of Animation that are probably worth a mention. One is the pool. So the big blue pool was a thing at the time, a feature at the time, and if you go under the water, you can hear the characters from Finding Nemo, so Dory and Nemo. And then the food court was a big change from the All Star and the Pop Century. And I don't know if any of you guys been to the food court there.
No.
It is really good. It is an upmarket quick service location. They've got lots of different themed. It's called the Landscape of Flavors, and there's different stations. So there's a make your own pizza, make your own burger, make your own salad, Mexican, Chinese. So it's Indian even as well. It is good for a value resort. It's definitely an improvement on the All Stars and Pop Century. So although we didn't stay there, we did drive past and we ate lunch there twice, I think.
It's interesting because what's the casting they've got massive cones there, haven't they? Are they like cabanas? Am I getting confused with California? No. Oh well.
Oh no, you think the Cars Land, the floors?
No.
No.
Well, no, because they've got is it the Crazy Cone Cafe?
Yeah.
I think. But
is that what you meant?
No. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's going to bug me. Anyway, Caribbean Beach Resort. While I look at that, has anyone stayed there?
Yes, I stayed there the last time we went. I liked it. It's quite big. I think it's one of the biggest moderates that they've got. But it's quite nice because of that, because you've got a lake in the middle of the grounds, and the rooms are all the way around the lake, which is quite nice. It's quite different to a lot of the other places. Obviously, you've got the stuff down on the boardwalk, but obviously the hotels are all in one place. With this, you've got quite a lot, like a walk around the lake that you can do. And to be fair, nothing's that far away. I felt anyway. You were never more than like 10 minutes away from the main eating area or anything like that. So I didn't feel that the largeness of the resort was that much of a problem. I have to say we really enjoyed it and would probably go back if we weren't looking at deluxe resorts for the next trip.
That lake is big. I was just looking. It's 45 acres.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because there was that rumour they were going to connect it up to Epcot, weren't they?
Yeah, I still think they're looking at that at the moment.
Yeah.
Whether they do, because there was also rumours that they were looking at putting DVC in there as well. That they were going to start, because they'd started running out of room at the deluxe resorts. That they were going to start looking at DVC, but it went through its refurb just after we went, and they didn't do anything then. So I can't see it being anything in the near future.
Do you reckon, because the lake is so big, why, if they want to do something like DVC, what about making like a little island? Like really exclusive?
They have actually got an island, which this is what makes it easier to cut across the lake, is there is an island that goes all the way across. So for people on the other side of the lake, it's like a cut through at the moment.
Didn't they toy with turning the old What was that zoo, that island in the middle of Bay Lake?
Discovery Island.
Yeah, didn't they toy with turning that into DVC?
Yeah, they talked about it, yeah. Or at least there was a rumour.
Like a honeymoon island or something.
Yeah, I think they were going to do something a bit like the Treehouse Villas at one point.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Sort of beachside bungalows, but then you've still got the flesh-eating bacteria, which on a honeymoon, that probably isn't a great idea.
If you're on a honeymoon, you're not going to be outside
Yeah.
anyway, or you shouldn't be.
Unless you sell it as like a spa treatment, you know, you dip your feet in the lagoon and the
like the
bacteria.
Yeah, chewed like the skin off your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right down to the bone, but hey, you know, you just got to pull them out a bit quicker. But
And if that don't get you, the snakes, spiders, and alligators will. So
You know, like the thing is, that's a weird thing, isn't it? Like, bearing in mind it's only a few years ago. Do you remember that phase that there were all these places that had those fish that like nibbled on your feet?
yeah.
That lasted about 6 months, but they were everywhere. I mean,
Did you ever notice that Harry Ramsden's opened up right next door? That always put me off.
Just the name above would have put me off. Going back to Art of Animation again, I feel like we're going to keep going back to this all show, but it says that the resort is themed like the Crazy Cone Motel. So that must be what I was getting confused with. So
Right.
It wasn't a pool.
Yeah.
I thought they were just like cone-shaped cabanas for some reason, but there's a lot of Disney to go around, isn't there?
Yeah.
So anyway, Caribbean Beach Resort.
Yeah. Did you guys eat at the at Shutters when you were there? What's that like, the restaurant?
I didn't eat in Shutters. I only ate in the quick service, like the food market, which I felt was fairly good. Again, it got different choices. There was like 4 or 5 different entrances that you go to, and you can order pasta or other stuff. I can't remember. We had pizza one night in there as well, and that was fairly good. But no, we didn't get to Shutters because I think at the time their opening hours were a bit all over the place. I don't think it was quite as popular at that point, but it seems to have upped its game a bit recently, from what I've heard.
Right. Yeah, I've never been there. It's always a sort of middle of the road reviews, really. So we've never bothered to make the trip, but wondered if it was worth it.
Well, here's a little fact for you, not about Art of Animation, but about this resort we're talking about now. When it was first opened, which was 1988, I think. Yep, October 1st, 1988. It's obviously quite a bit older. It was considered a deluxe resort. And then Disney thought it looked small compared to the other deluxe class resorts, and in 1990 transferred the resort to its moderate category. So I don't know how many other resorts have actually been downgraded before, but that one has.
Oh,
Interesting. Didn't know that.
And also, they did, and this was pre-Art of Animation, they redesigned some of the rooms to a Finding Nemo theme.
Yeah, they got pirate themed rooms as well, haven't they?
Yeah, the whole resort's the rooms are all Nemo themed now, other than, as Paul says, the pirate rooms.
Yeah, Trinidad South Village has a pirate theme.
Yeah, man.
Interesting. You'd have been. I'm surprised that they've had the same property doing 2 hotels, even at different classes.
Yeah, it's very minimal.
Oh, okay.
It's just like the borders around the room, a fish themed. That's about it.
Fair enough.
going back to the downgrading, Universal's done that with their Royal Pacific.
Rights? Oh, sorry.
And those. No. Yeah, because that was a deluxe, and that's becoming a moderate now.
Wow. Oh, it's weird. I mean, I suppose with that will come a price down as well. But
Probably not.
You don't think?
Well, you know what these places are like. I mean, Disney's not MGM, Disney Hollywood Studios has got no rides, and the price keeps going up. So.
Touche. Yeah, we talked about that one before.
Though you say that, they've announced today that the writer's stop is actually sticking around.
What?
Good. Excellent.
Thank
With
God.
a new menu, apparently.
Keep the carrot cake cookies. Don't take
You've
them
got to
off
assume
the
they're
menu.
You've got to assume they're going to keep them because that's their speciality.
Yeah, I got
But
to.
yeah, it was meant to be closing next week, and they've announced that it's not.
But the thing is, it is stuck on the side of Sci-Fi Diner. So if you're going to get rid of that, surely you'd have to get rid of the Sci-Fi Diner.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you?
You know.
Yeah.
I
would be a shame.
I personally think, and I know we kind of talked about this before, but I do think that if we're going to have a whole Star Wars section, would you really need a sci-fi diner when you're going to have a sci-fi restaurant in Star Wars land? I know the Sci-Fi Diner isn't attached to a property, and obviously Star Wars is, but you would think that there's probably going to be some kind of crossover at times. So, and that's not me, it's not saying that I want it to go, because I mean it's obviously a very popular eatery, but
Yeah, they just need to up it a bit. They need to, if they're going to keep it, they need to change the movies for one thing.
Oh yes.
Right, because they've been there. They were new releases, for God's sake. The Incredible Shrinking Woman, or whatever the hell it was a new release when they opened that restaurant, I think. And that was black and white.
Tom and Jerry cartoons.
Yeah, and they gotta improve the menu, and then they gotta bring back the glow in the dark frisbees that you got free with every meal. Cool. Excellent. Still got mine.
Now, so that's Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort. The next one is the only resort that I went near and didn't know existed. And in fact, I remember the show that Paul B talked to me about this location, and I thought he was like pulling my leg. I didn't realise this was a real thing. It's Disney's BoardWalk Inn.
Mm-hmm. So what, you were on the boardwalk and you didn't realise?
No, I was near the entrance to it. And thought it led to nowhere. I don't know why I think an entrance leads to nowhere, but I did, so I kind of carried on and couldn't get that there was an area that, because does it? Am I right in thinking it kind of leads between Hollywood Studios, as it now is, and Epcot?
Well, yeah, the boardwalk area is between them. Yeah, but on the other side of the little lagoon, so opposite Yacht and Beach Club, you've got the Boardwalk Resort.
I mean, I think the first time I really knew about it, and what made me question it, was seeing a Vinylmation for it. It's terrible, isn't it? But I just didn't know it. I think the problem is because it didn't. I knew all the resorts that had buses. I think that was my thing. So like, all my knowledge of the resorts and like, where you could go to and everything like that was on buses or by driving past them, like the Swan and Dolphin, for example. So I just never saw the boardwalk. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm eager to experience it when I go back, because a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about the boardwalk. Has anyone stayed there?
I have. I do love it. It is lovely, the boardwalk. The rooms are particularly really highly appointed, really nice beds, nice view. It is a really good resort, the boardwalk. And then so close to Epcot, so you can get pie-eyed in Epcot, food and wine, and then stagger back to your resort.
Which is ideal, really. It's very easy to do during food and wine. But to be honest, it's easy to do most of the year, but if it goes to the right countries. But during food and wine, even easier. And a place that there's one part there that I would have said it's really popular, but I think it actually probably divides people more than it's completely universally loved. That's jelly rolls.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which I think you either love it or you hate it. It's the Marmite of the boardwalk.
Well, Jelly Rolls and the Atlantic Dance Hall next door are both good, but a top tip, as I think I've said before, is remember your 2 bits of ID if you're British and go in there, because they won't let you in otherwise. Don't do what I do. Drive all the way there and then show your driver's license, and they go, "Sorry, you need another ID to get in." You're like, "Well, it's got my photo and my name and address on it."
Or in 18 months' time, same rule applies if you're Muslim, because once President Trump gets in power,
all hail Trump and his glorious new regime.
the reason I brought it up is just before this record, I was watching a documentary about Donald Trump, and it's quite scary, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's not going to end well.
Look, let's not marginalise our listeners who love Trump. In England, we all love to Trump, but that's something different.
I don't know if it's that much different.
It's still hot air, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll
And
be
the
arse.
American listeners can just wait until we get Boris Johnson as Prime Minister.
Oh,
Oh,
good old
yeah.
Bojo.
Yeah, I mean, there is a similarity there, isn't there? And it's not just the colour of the hair.
And the style of it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just complete buffoonery. I love it.
I remember seeing a thing where Boris Johnson was doing a speech, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was the governor of California, was in the audience, and they had his microphone was still on, and he turned to his aide next to him, and he went. I won't do the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, but he went, "Is this bloke drunk? Is this for real?"
Get me to the chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a thing if they both got into power. It'd definitely be a case of Hal Hydra if that happened, I think. So so the BoardWalk Inn, it seems to be a little bit of an unsung gem. I just don't think people really talk about it. So I think in this round, I reckon it could actually sneak a victory. Just because people that know it love it.
Well, another top tip, and Paul, you'll back me up on this. Normally, the start and finish lines of the half marathons, they normally end around that area, don't they?
Yep. When I did the wine and dine, I ended up running past there the last 2 miles. It was around the boardwalk and then into Epcot through the International Gateway.
Because that's when I stayed there. I actually stayed there when I did the Twilight Zone run.
Yeah.
That they've discontinued now. But,
Well, cool, because it'll be the Guardians of the Galaxy run soon.
It'll be the Guardians of the Galaxy. Exactly.
Going.
But it's brilliant because you can finish your run and then walk up the steps and jump in your bed.
That is pretty ideal, actually.
So if you're a runner or an alcoholic, it's a brilliant resort.
And if you're both, then you're in your.
Which is why you do the
careful.
wine and dine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go too near the edge of the boardwalk.
You mean the Disneyland Paris half marathon, Paul?
Yeah.
You can get beer at McDonald's. Anyway, next up we have a resort which, to me, is probably most famous, after I found this out, of being the location that the Beach Boys filmed the video for Kokomo. And other people may have gone there for an exquisite meal or a character breakfast with English characters. It is, of course, Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa.
I thought you was going to say that Hulk Hogan program. What was that Hulk Hogan program?
Hogan Knows Best.
No, not that one.
That's the one
when he was not so intolerant.
The sex tape.
No, before.
So the nanny
Watch
one.
out, we'll get sued.
Mr. Nanny.
Yeah, I might get sued. Yeah.
It's apparently going to sue a network for showing Mr. Nanny.
Yeah.
I believe it's a fake story. Wow, what did he do? Oh no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise.
The
A show
credits were on
so
the
bad.
beach.
A show so bad, even I haven't watched that show.
Well, fun fact: every time they went to the villain's lair, it was Morocco in Epcot. I'm not even making that up.
Well, because I mean, they also they filmed, if I'm correct, they filmed quite a bit of it around MGM Studios as well, as it was then known, because they also taped the wrestling there as well, and I think some of that deal was kind of enticing Hogan to get back into the ring, was so he could kind of film his TV show, become a Hollywood star, and perform in front of a tepid audience on a revolving stage. Yes, if you go and watch WCW from about '94, it'll be at MGM Studios.
Oh, blimey, that's going back.
Yeah, most of it doesn't hold up very well. So, the Grand Floridian, I've been there. Mr. Dolan, I know, has been there as well. We've eaten at the different dining bits that I mentioned earlier. But has anyone actually stayed there?
Slept in the lobby.
Did you sleep in the lobby next to that lady with the teddy bears?
No, it was near the piano guy. He sent me to sleep.
Have you seen the teddy bear lady?
Yeah, I think I have, yeah.
See, I thought it was an urban legend, but she does actually exist, and she's
Yeah.
nothing to do with Disney.
Oh, I
Really?
thought she was something to do with Disney. I just assumed that she was... Oh,
She's
right.
just a... what's the
Cranky
politically
person?
correct term for a crazy person?
Cranky.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So this is just someone that sits in the Grand Floridian
Yeah,
But,
with a load of teddy bears in a pram, I think.
ooh, okay. I got to say, I definitely didn't see that. I think we've talked about Grand Floridian before, not just because of the Beach Boys, but yeah, I mean, I personally, I just found it a little bit snooty. And the character we went for the character breakfast, is it
1900 Park Fair.
1900 Park Fair, brilliant.
Yeah.
So we went there because it was where they had a lot of the Alice in Wonderland characters, and I knew that my wife would enjoy it, so that's what we did, and it was good. I mean, they had breakfast lasagna there, which we avoided, but friends tell us is amazing. It can't be. There's no way on earth it can be. But as a character experience, I thought it was really good. And Mr. D, you went for the slap up meal, didn't you? 12 courses, was it?
Yeah, I went to Victoria and Albert's for our wedding anniversary on the last trip. Yeah, it was great. It was a really good meal. But we've been to 1900 Park Fair as well, and as a character breakfast, it is good fun. The Mad Hatter is a really good character.
Yeah, we went as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's one of the certainly when I was looking at it, one of the ones that stood out as looking quite fun. I mean, I certainly preferred it, as character experiences go, to Cinderella's Royal Table, which, I mean, it's a good experience, but yeah, it wasn't really. I don't think it was really as enjoyable as that was. But yeah, has anyone got any kind of views? I said I found it a little bit snoozy. Has anyone got any other opinions about Grand Floridian?
I used to think this was the best pool on property because I don't know about you chaps, but I'm just over 6 foot. I like a deep swimming pool, and the Grand Floridian swimming pool was really deep. I mean, it was, I don't know, 15, 20 foot deep. I used to like that, and then some kid, I don't know what happened, wasn't a lifeguard on duty. There was something happened. And so now it's a lot shallower than it used to be, and it's zero entry. So
did you stay there then?
I have stayed one night in the Grand Floridian.
1 night?
Yeah. 1 night. And I didn't eat at any of the restaurants. I only ate in the Gasparilla Grill, which is quite good. It does burgers, but they're 24 hours, so...
Well, the other thing as well, if if you can afford a room in the Grand Floridian, you probably can't afford to eat there.
That is true.
It's probably one or the other, so...
That is most definitely true.
Which is a shame, because they've got a lot of eating choices.
Mm.
They got, apart from Victoria and Albert's, they've got 2 signature restaurants, Narcoossee's and Citrico's. Plus they've got the Grand Floridian Cafe. Plus they got the tea room, and then 1900 Park Fair. So a lot of eating choices, some good restaurants.
Have you ever eaten in Narcoossee's?
No. My daughter did. Her and her boyfriend went there when we went to Victoria and Albert's.
Yeah.
They had a good meal. They enjoyed it. What about you?
Well, I didn't have a very good meal. I tell a lie that I have eaten at Narcoossee's, but that wasn't when we stayed there. And I didn't really enjoy it. I found it a bit in need of a refurb. It was a bit echoey, and the food was a bit cold, and service was a bit rushed, and we didn't have a particularly very good view either. But I know a lot of people swear by it.
Yeah, we went to the Grand Floridian Cafe, and we had a sort of poor experience. I think our waitress. Do you remember Acorn Antiques? that was our waitress. So by the time she got the food there, everything was cold, and then by the time she got it back to the table, everything else was cold, and then she forgot the ketchup, so that took another 10 minutes. Bless her. But wasn't the greatest of experience.
Cup of tea out, and all the tea had gone from her shaking.
Yeah.
I think probably in both cost and decor, the Grand Floridian has a fair few similarities with the Disneyland Hotel in Paris.
Yeah.
As I said, cost wise, uppity nose wise, but definitely the look and feel of the place. I think it's got that kind of traditional, kind of timeless feel about it. Actually, it's not timeless, is it? It's very dated, but you know what I mean. So it's got that. And we haven't mentioned as well, I mean, really how close it is to the park. Because like the Polynesian, it's one of the ones on the monorail.
Yeah, but you can't walk to it
No.
because of the berm or the little channel for the electrical water pageant. So you can take the monorail or you can take a little ferry boat, but you can't walk.
You can walk to the
Ooh.
Poly, though.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to Trader Sam's and get drunk, another Dis After Dark top tip.
Yep.
We like getting drunks.
Or getting drunk.
and how to do it. So, the next one we have on the list, resort opened just 2 years after the Grand Floridian. And if I said to you it's themed after Martha's Vineyard, not the same Martha from Batman vs Superman, by the way, a different one.
Which one?
Well, exactly. Isn't that the question? Disney's Yacht Club Resort.
Can I borrow your
Soapbox?
soapbox? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not being used at the moment. You know, I'm just standing on it because I want to try and be as tall as you, sir. So no, please go ahead.
Oh, I'm only 6'1". Craig's the tall one.
Touche. He is the land of the giant. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say too much because basically we stay one night at the yacht club because I like to resort hop, and the cleanliness of the room was not up to scratch, and we did complain, and Disney did comp it. So I won't go into it because obviously they might sue us, and the mouse has got more money than we have.
That is true.
But one interesting thing I did find out from talking to the manager of the yacht club when this happened was this is the resort. It's so big and well, it's not huge, but it's got really long corridors. And he told me that whenever there's a VIP, unless they book Grand Flow and want to be in the Grand Flow, the VIPs are always put in the yacht club because they can be tucked well out the way of all the other guests and you won't even know they're there.
Wow.
Even Eisner, when he was CEO, used to always stay in the yacht club. So that was quite interesting.
I think so, yeah.
But it's in desperate need of a refurb. I don't know if they are refurbing it at the moment or they have done since I stayed there about 2 or 3 years ago, but the rooms were really tired.
I've got a feeling they have done some refurb on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw a YouTube video of someone saying that they were looking out for all the new bits and pieces they put in. So I've got a feeling they have.
Yeah, it really needed it. But I mean, the only reason we stayed there was because of Stormalong Bay, if I'm honest, which is like a mini water park in itself.
Yeah. It's a good location as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that's similar to the BoardWalk. It's in between those two parks, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in between Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
And of course, the best thing about it, which it shares with the beach club, is beaches and cream.
Oh yeah, you have to ADR it now, don't you?
Do you? It used to be just walk-ups.
Yeah, we had an ADR the last time we went.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah, well, that's better. I'd rather have an ADR.
Stormalong Bay does sound quite amazing, actually. I mean, to be honest, it sounds a little bit like what's it called? The one that's not Blizzard Beach.
Typhoon Lagoon.
That's the one. It sounds quite similar to that. It's got a lazy river and it's got a waterfall and it's got a shipwreck. But I imagine on a fairly smaller scale.
Yeah, it is. But going back to what I said about Grand Flow, it's got a nice deep section of the pool, like an adults area and hot tubs, and it's like a collection of loads of little pools, basically, sort of spread out, and there's sort of like a bar in the middle. But it's always really popular, and of course you can only go in there if you're staying at the hotel.
Yeah.
And they really police that. There's people scanning your magic bands at every exit.
Wow.
So you can't blag your way in on that one. But No, it is really good. And of course, obviously, it's got the Yachtsman Steakhouse, which is a lot of people's favourite restaurant. I've not eaten there, but I don't know if you chaps have.
No, it's not one we've been to yet.
It's interesting. It's also got quite a big convention centre.
Mm.
It's a bit like the Swan and Dolphin in that regard.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The Swan and Dolphin is literally a few minutes walk. Plus, you got Fantasia Gardens, a little mini golf course. So there's a lot of stuff in the area. It is, it's a cracking location. Lots of restaurants from the different hotels and the boardwalk itself.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to stay in that area, it would either be Beach Club or Boardwalk. Probably Boardwalk. No, actually Beach Club because of Stormlong Bay, I think. But I don't think I would stay at the yacht club again, though.
Okay. Well, the next one from there that we should talk about is the Treehouse Villas at Saratoga.
Yeah.
I have stayed one night there. And then I'm done. I haven't stayed at any of the others.
I was thinking there's definitely a theme here.
Well, it's DVC, isn't it? So it's a bit. I think it's got a bit more hype than what it is. It's a load of bungalows on sticks.
Yeah, number one, then I mean, it wouldn't be what I'd call a treehouse.
No.
I mean, there's actually, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it's about a 30-minute drive from Disneyland Paris, but there is a place that is just tree houses. And they're big tree houses that you can stay in as like a family. They look really fun. These things are cabins on stilts, like you say.
Yeah.
Just slightly elevated off the ground, like about 4 foot or so. And to be honest, looking at like the decor, and even the outside, I suppose, it's a bit Centre Parks, isn't it?
It is. Unfortunately, though, it's probably got one of the worst pools on property. It's got this horrible little grotty little thing right in the middle that nobody goes to. So it hasn't got the, awesome pool like Centre Parks would have. But yeah, I mean, you can walk to the main Saratoga Springs, or you can walk to downtown Disney. I don't think the buses are too frequent. You can drive, park near to your treehouse. And the tree houses are very spacious. But the thing is, what I don't understand with a lot of these DVC resorts, because this was classed as a grand villa, so it slept, 12, 10, I don't know. There was a lot of us.
It's, I'm just having a look at it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. About 8 to 10, I'd say.
Yeah, so there was about 8 to 10 of us there. Now tell me, right, there's got 8 to 10 of us staying the night. There isn't enough cutlery for 8 to 10 people. And there's got a kitchen that you're meant to cook in. And then on top of that, the TV, there's only 3 seats. So where's the logic in this?
Very little. Well, there's a floor. There's a floor. Remember that. There's a floor. And they're hexagonal as well. So, I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen these things, have a Google, because they are quite bizarre looking, I've got to say. But yeah, as you say, like DVC, you'd have to give it a go, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll be talking about it more on the next show, because we said about it, that was like the cliffhanger from the last full Dis After Dark episode was the revelation of you being a DVC.
Yeah.
So
for my sins.
What is it for your sins? We'll find out, won't we, when we discuss it more. But okay, so that's a new one. So they're fairly new as well. I mean, you wouldn't know it, to be honest.
Well, funny enough,
2009.
They go back to the 70s because they were built strangely for cast members. It was lodging for, was it for the international thingamabob?
I think they used them for when they had the Disney Institute way back, and then after that, I think they used them for cast members for a while.
Oh, I thought they predated the Institute. Oh,
and then they were kind of derelict for a while, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they were empty and falling apart.
Brain-eating amoebas.
Yeah.
Show title.
Show title. Yeah.
So $700 a night as well. Ouchie wawa.
But when you've got
He's like
tenants,
Centre
it's
Parks.
quite cheap.
Yeah.
But
If
then you're on top of each other.
Yes, there is that as well.
That can be fun.
Yeah, it depends on your parties. Definitely. And I suppose going on from that, the next one on the list is Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa.
Yeah.
So, anyone that stayed there?
I've visited, but I've not stayed there.
Yeah, same. Just visited.
Yeah, it was one of the considered ones for our next trip, but I'm not sure whether we will be staying there or not.
It's the one that always goes with Old Key West, because you can get, or previously, I don't know about now, but previously the free dining plan, you could always get the full dining plan for Old Key West and Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
But we always opted for Old Key West, and there was a couple of reasons for that. Saratoga Springs is a lot newer, but the studios had a bed and a pull-out sofa, whereas the studios in Old Key West had 2 queen-size beds, so that suited us better. And then just the location, it's close to downtown Disney, which is great. You can walk to downtown Disney, but it's further away from Magic Kingdom and Epcot. It's further away from the parks, I guess. So pros and cons, but
what with all the expansion at Disney Springs, this is probably getting popular now, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Because
that doesn't seem.
Sorry, Paul, go on.
There doesn't seem to be much availability popping up on the normal booking sites. I think a lot of it's probably going to DVC now.
Well, the thing is, it's such a nightmare to get in and out of Disney Springs. So, if you like all those restaurants that are there, there's some very popular restaurants there and shops and things that, you could stay at Saratoga Springs for a bit, which has always been reasonable in price. And then you haven't got to worry about getting in and out of the springs.
Yeah, you just got to get in and out of your resort, though.
Yeah.
If you're coming back from the parks, there's a back road that goes past Old Key West. You can take that, but it does get pretty busy around there. Don't know what it's like now with all the construction work and how close that is to being finished, but
don't know.
Yeah.
It was built on the former site of the Disney Institute, so that's correct. First opened in 2004, and is now the largest DVC resort.
It's a bit. It always seems a bit empty when I've been there. It was a bit because you've got the golf course there. So if you want to play golf on whichever course it is, you've got to go to Saratoga Springs, and they've got one restaurant there, I think.
Yeah, the Sand Trap Bar and Grill, I think.
Yeah, but I felt it quite. Do you remember that TV show that was filmed in Wales with the prisoner with the big white ball?
Yeah, Port Merion.
Yeah, and all the colourful buildings, and it was like
Yeah.
empty all the time. I'm a man, not a number. That's what I felt like when I was there.
The Turf Club Bar and Grill.
Club, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also the home of the DVC Club Preview Centre, where they entice you in with their generous gifts. So, just to kind of explain this a little bit, because I always understood that a DVC resort meant you could only stay there if you're DVC. Is that not the case?
No, basically the window opens up for DVC people, and then if there's rooms left over, they sell them to the public.
Right, getcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Saratoga Springs and Old Key West are so busy that you can book them just like a hotel.
Okay.
Because I booked them through the Disney website, you didn't have to wait to see if they became available. You can just book them. I think they must apportion a certain number of rooms just for normal bookings.
Well, the thing is, Old Key West, for example, because that's one of the oldest ones, although ironically you get the largest rooms, I believe, with that one, they make it, with the points system for DVC members, they make it really, really cheap for you to stay there. So they really push members into staying at that resort to fill it up.
Yeah. And I think it's a great resort.
Yeah.
I mean, we've stayed there 3 times now, and I think it's fantastic. It's one of probably is our favourite resort that we stayed in all of them. We haven't stayed in all of them by any means, but
I've never heard anyone say anything bad about that resort.
yeah.
So I know.
Anyway, we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Well, the final one, and again we've done very well. We've done a bite-sized episode, which has lasted the same length as a regular episode. So well done to us all. maybe 8's not the magic number for that. But the last one on the list for this week, at least, is Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, one of the original hotels. Well, it was open a month after opening day, but give or take, it's been there a hell of a long time.
Yeah, I visited it to go to Hoop-de-Doo, but I've not stayed there.
Hoop-de-doo. And of course, it's adjacent to Disney's River Country. So
Yeah, Brady's amoebas again.
Probably handy then, not so handy now. Yes.
So is this Fort Wilderness Resort and Campgrounds then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it's both together.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the deluxe wilderness.
Wilderness Lodge.
No, it's not the lodge. You can walk between the two. It's a bit of a trek, but
okay, so it's just
separate.
a campground, really, then, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think they call it resort because there's some log cabins there.
Yeah.
I thought they just called it resort because they can.
Well, they can do, yeah.
I don't actually know what makes something a resort.
Well, I think it's got facilities. So there's a restaurant there, and there's pools, I think, as well.
Yeah,
Hasn't it got cabins as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, log cabins.
Yeah. Because so this is where our friend Jen, who pees standing up, as Craig would say hilariously if he was here. Hi Jen. This is where she stayed when she did a trip report. And she did the camp. What is she? Oh, that's confused me now. But anyway, so yeah, it's a bit of a mixture. I mean, on paper, this one sounds more like what an actual centre parks would be, but I think less
it
centre
does
parks.
feel like that, actually.
Yeah. But I mean, you mentioned the Hoop-de-Doo musical review, but also Mickey's Backyard Barbecue, which I know is a very popular eating destination as well. Have any of you done that? Or?
No, only the Hoop-de-Doo. I read an interesting book recently about the construction of Walt Disney World, and they said that the project manager who was in charge of building this Fort Wilderness Resort, he had the smallest budget of everyone, obviously, because it's not like the Contemporary or the Poly. And he was saying that his budget was so small and it kept getting cut because the other resorts kept going over budget, that he and his team had to go out after dark and literally steal timber from the other building sites. Still Disney, so they took timber from the Poly and from the Magic Kingdom and everything, and brought it back because they couldn't afford to buy timber to build like the log cabins and the community hall and thing. Whether it's true, I don't know. But it was quite an interesting story.
I like it. With those kind of stories, you have to wonder how much true it is, but I think a lot of you would like that to be true.
Yeah. Well, maybe not the Disney company, but the rest of us, yeah.
Yes. That's true. That is true. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've not really. Again, it's not one that I've even gone to have a look at. So I don't really have too much on it. And the fact that it's so close to brain-eating amoeba does slightly put me off somewhat.
I mean, it's really quiet, and it's built for people that have got those camper vans, because they're everywhere there. And then people, they decorate like you would decorate your cabin on the cruise. They decorate their pitch. If it's Halloween, they'll put Halloween decks up. If it's Christmas, they'll flood it with LEDs everywhere.
Yeah, Christmas is a big thing. They've got a lot of people that literally live there for certain months of the year. And when Christmas comes, it's absolutely ridiculous the amount of effort they put in. There's more lights than there are in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
No, the Osborne lights have started going there.
Yeah.
I'd like to give it a try, but
It's nice. I mean,
Limited.
go to Hoop-de-Doo, which is
Yeah.
not bad, and then have get there an hour early or something. Have a walk around. It's a really peaceful sort of place. It's nice.
Wow. That is our 8 results. So, just to recap, in case you haven't been paying attention, and if not, why not? We had Disney's Art of Animation result, Disney's Caribbean Beach result, Disney's BoardWalk Inn, Disney's Grand Floridian Resorts and Spa, Disney's Yacht Club result, the Treehouse Villas, which aren't really tree houses, Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa, and the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. So, I believe that the voting is will be open by the time this episode comes out, but is available in the usual places, which is of course our Facebook page at www.disafterdark.com, and you can email us at podcast@disafterdark.com, but don't email us your vote, just vote on the link on the Facebook page or the website.
That's right.
That's pretty much it. But there is one thing before we close this pub snack edition of Dis After Dark, and we got a message from a listener, which is good actually. He private messaged us rather than emailed us, so it meant that we didn't lose it amongst all the emails about penis enlargements and blue pills.
And that's just what Craig's got.
And that, yeah, exactly. A blue penis and large pills. I'm confused. and it was in reference to our last episode. So it was from Brian Turner, and it's to do with P's and Q's. So he said, like, we asked where it came from, and he said, I was at a historic inn called the Compass Inn in Pennsylvania that was built before the American Revolutionary War. The American Revolutionary War. That's better, isn't it? It had a hotel with a pub and barn that basically catered to travellers. The P's and Q's were in reference to the rather large cup that your beverage came in at the pub. The cup had wooden pegs in it that marked so many pints and quarts. The barkeep would keep track of how many pints and quarts you drank, so when someone says to mind your P's and Q's, they're really saying mind your pints and quarts. What they're really saying is to mind your own business. But that's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Mm.
And, I mean, obviously, that system would never have worked in the mouse's head.
No.
We'd have had no wooden pegs in our cups.
No, pegs
That for
out.
sure. Pegs out.
Pegs on the floor.
Pegs on a plane.
That's why you got to watch them. Mind
Yeah.
those pegs. Mind those peas. Watch it.
But, Brian, thank you ever so much for that. It's always good to be corrected, especially in a very educational way, rather than you're just talking nonsense. Which we don't mind either, because, again, if we say something that's bull, please pull us up on it. But that's very educational, so thank you for that. And with that, I think...
Oh! We haven't done our vote.
We haven't.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. We should really do that. So, because you put your hand up first, please start us off.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go with the Yacht Club. Put it that way.
Yeah, we got that feeling.
I'm gonna go with the Boardwalk because it's brilliantly located. It's highly appointed. It's always nice. The people are always really great. Boardwalk for me.
Mr. D.
Yeah. This might be my only chance to stay at the Grand Floridian, though. Yeah, I'll go Grand Floridian. I know it's location. I think for me, and the food choices.
You just like that teddy bear tramp lady, don't you?
Well, I'm interested in her now. Yeah.
Other plush toys are, of course, available.
Is it a Duffy? Is it a Duffy bear?
Oh,
Could you imagine now? Oof. I bet she's got a few of them.
Yeah, I might just drop a lighter in her collection.
Mr. Washington.
I'm going to go with the Caribbean Beach because it's the only one I've stayed at. So it's the one that I've got the most knowledge of. So I'm going Caribbean Beach.
Good.
Yeah, man.
Good. it's going to be a hard one for me because I've not really been to any of these places. The art of animation, I think, does look good. The sweet thing kind of puts me off a little bit. And I've got to say, like what Mr. Dolan was saying there, this could be the only chance he gets to stay at the Grand Floridian. There is that little bit of element in there as well. But to be honest, the one that I think I'd like to stay at just because of what I've been told and what I've seen of it, I think I'm going to also vote for the Boardwalk. It does look like a good place to go.
Yeah.
Very small as well. Like compared to a lot of resorts, I think it's 360 rooms or something, 368 rooms. So yeah, probably a bit harder to get into than some of them, unless people like me have never heard of it. But yeah, so that's a tough one though, because it was almost Grand Floridian, but no, I think I'm going to stick with the Boardwalk.
Top tip: if you're not staying at the Boardwalk, you can still park in the Boardwalk car park. There is a security guard, but if you just say you're going for dinner on the Boardwalk, they'll let you in, they'll let you park there, and then it's an easy walk from there to Epcot.
Is it true that car park, whilst that is a very good tip, but is it true that car park is actually located not on the same level, but it's actually under the boardwalk?
Oh. It's actually above the Boardwalk. It's over the Boardwalk.
God, so but that makes the Boardwalk under the Boardwalk. Oh, God, this is confusing. It's too much to take in on a school night. Right, well, with that in mind, again, we'll say goodnight. Thank you for joining us. Next week's show, we've got a guest lined up for next week's show?
We have. We may have a couple.
and DVC talk as well. God, we are like the ambassador at a convention for Ferrero Rochers, and we are spoiling you. So there you go. You got that to look forward to as well. This is a show that just keeps on giving, doesn't it?
Well, we're the number one. We got to stay up there.
We are Britain's most downloaded Disney podcast, and fourth choice in the world. So there you go. So, gents, thank you for joining us, and dear listener, thank you for downloading and listening. And we'll speak to you in a week's time. Please vote. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Have a good one.
Good
Happy
night.
Easter.